Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm so glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lined up, special guests here, but first, let's take a look at our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. The first temperature I'm going to cover this morning is the water temperature at the end of the pier. It's jumped up to 78 degrees, so we've got a warm current coming there, so you're going to start hearing some good reports the next day or two. Air temperature today, high of 84, low of 69. Scatter showers are popping up, mainly inland, but not a bad day, not a bad reading as far as the next couple of days. Let's take a look at our river readings brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. Good folks down there. And I really enjoy those Sprites and everything when they get cold. I'm outside working or something. That place cold up Bluntstown, 7.5, steady. Choctaw Caryville is at a 4 foot. It's in good shape. It got a little bit of rise to it because of the rain they've had, but it's not bad. Both rivers are in good shape. Take a look now at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at the low tide this morning at 1:30, coming all the way in about 2:47. It sort of moved back a little bit. It's coming all the way into after lunch. So we got a great incoming tide this morning. If you want to get out there and give a chance of a good tide, the wind's going to be coming southeast at 11. So water's going to be moving pretty strong in all of our bay systems. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to our regular guest once a month coming from FWC, Officer Travis Bashford. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you again.
Good to be back.
So you've been staying pretty busy, I guess.
Yes, sir. We've been staying busy. Things warming up. It's getting busy on the water.
Yeah.
It's getting busy everywhere.
Well, listen, before we get into your work and all the things you've been doing, we got a couple of family pictures we want to show right here. You got these kids, first of all, they're growing, but look at that big old smile on their face.
They're growing like weeds. Yep.
Okay, I got to get it. I'm going to get it hooked up. But anyway, you got to take them fishing the other day?
Well, actually took their mama fishing. They got to hold the fish when we got back because they were in school.
So mama caught it?
Yep, she did. She did really good. Got a nice red fish, and kids got to hold it, and that one fish actually fed the whole family, so we had a good time.
That's funny because one fish can do that.
Oh yeah,
especially a fish that big.
Yep, okay. Absolutely.
I'm not able to pull it up right now. We'll get it up. So let's go in. Let's go. We'll show it later. Let's get some of your work.
Yeah. So I know you've probably talked about this, and we had the governor in town this past week, announced some really exciting news for a lot of fishermen. Going to have a 70-day red snapper season. A lot of people excited about that opportunity. And we're excited about it at FWC, and it's just kind of a testament to conservation and people being patient, and look how it's come back with quality fish, numbers of fish. And
right.
I can't remember the last time we've had 70 days. It's been a long time. So people are excited about it, and I can go over those dates, and then we can talk about the season a little bit. I know a lot of people are, like I say, are excited, but June 16th through July 31st consecutively, that's roughly a month and a half right in the middle of summer when everybody likes to go reef fishing. And then we're going to have the weekends in the fall for October and November, and that's every weekend in October, every weekend in November, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So going to be a really good season. This is the longest season we've had since state management of the fishery, as far as federal and state for the private recreational anglers has begun. And like I say, a lot of people are really excited about this opportunity.
Oh, that is great. And I know that summertime is always fun fishing, but that fall is always special.
Oh yeah,
weekend. So I know a lot of folks are starting to book those up. So that, and a lot of people going into private boats and they're catching some nice ones in state waters.
They are, and we've seen it just get better and better. And I'm excited too. I'm going to try to actually go fishing a little bit this year as well. And of course we'll be working it quite a bit. But yeah, that fall is really nice because things cool off. It's usually not as crowded out there. You've kind of got a split where some people are hunting, some people are fishing, so there's not as many people. And having Friday, Saturday, and Sundays as opposed to just Saturday and Sunday, it's just more opportunity given weather, given people being able to take off and stuff like that, because we all know it's weather dependent. You know, no one wants to get out there when it's just absolutely terrible conditions, and just more days and more opportunities to fish. So everybody's super excited about it. FWC, we always have to balance the needs of the stakeholder with the needs of the resource.
We talk about that a lot. It does have to be balanced. You just can't go there and catch them all, and you got to have opportunity. We wouldn't have. We've talked about this a whole lot about the researchers and all the time they put into it, and all the research they do.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that goes into a lot of research and a lot of data collection that goes into making these seasons, making these changes, whether it be a bag limit, size limit, or a season date, and a lot of people work really hard on it. So everyone's super happy with it. I can tell you too, just to let everyone know, this is for the private recreational anglers as well as our state for hire charter fleet. So inside state waters, 9 miles out and in. And NOAA Fisheries will announce the federal for hire season hopefully soon. We'll be getting those dates, and that will be different. That's managed by NOAA. FWC manages the other two sections of the fishery that we were talking about. So again, everybody's super excited, and including myself. I know you're gonna go, and it's gonna be a good time, I think.
The old timers always called that snapper the money fish. That's what brought them in the early years when they got paid for catching the fish. That's what they got paid for. And the group wasn't that highly in demand, but that red snapper, they loved it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just been, all over the Panhandle. It's always been special, and everyone's really looking forward to a good season. So, another thing I want to talk about too, we've got reef fish season's is going to be coming in for snapper. We've had triggerfish and going to have amberjack and stuff like that. But we've got National Safe Boating Week coming up, and that's going to be May 20th through May 26th. It's just basically a nationwide campaign, and we're going to focus on boating safety, and there's so many different parts of that. I know recently here just in the Panhandle we've had several fatal boating accidents. We've had the one in Franklin County where 2 people lost their life. We've had serious bodily injury and a fatal here in Bay, and then over in Pensacola we had one up on the Chattahoochee River. That's just in the past 2 weeks. So at FWC, Coast Guard, everybody working out on the water in a law enforcement capacity, we want to try to reduce the number of boating accidents, especially the ones that involve serious bodily injury or death. And I know we probably got to take a break, but
let's take a break, and then we'll come back. Got those pictures set up, and we got all kind of good information. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We have these pictures set up now, so let's take a look at these pictures. Here we go, Travis. Tell us about this one right here.
Oh yeah, that's just that's Bella and Wyatt holding that redfish that Mama caught, and like I said, that one fish fed the whole family.
And here she is.
Yep, there she is. Yep, she caught a nice slot red last week. And,
all right.
Did a good job getting it in, and we had a good time. So.
We're going to get Nicole back on the show soon. She's been busy working full-time, being a mama full-time, and a wife. She's had a plate full, but we're going to get her back on soon.
That's right. Hopefully when baseball gets over, because we're both trying to coach baseball too. So that gets busy.
In all your spare time.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, I can't get over the amount of accidents we've had. I didn't realize there's that many when you brought those others in, in a short period of time.
Right, and yeah, just bring it up because I know it's been in the news if anyone's been following that. But just in our area, we've had several fatals just in the past couple weeks. Wow. And that's right here in the Panhandle, like I say, Pensacola, Franklin County, Bay County, and then Jackson County. And the reason I bring that up is because, we want to try to prevent those accidents from happening. And boating safety is a core mission of FWC. And there's several things that we just want to remind everyone out there to just be careful on the water. And there's several things you can do to try to help prevent some of these accidents. Florida's the boating capital of the world. We've got over 1 million registered vessels. And in the summertime, people get out on the water. They want to enjoy Florida. They want to enjoy our saltwater and freshwater resources. But with more people on the water in condensed areas, in some areas, we can have accidents. So one thing we want to remind everyone of, number one, is wear a life jacket. Wear a life jacket when you're underway. The Type 5s, you probably see us wearing them. They're inflatable. They have an actual a little substance in there. If they get wet, they will inflate, and then they have a manual inflatable, and I'll bring one of those on the show next time. and some of the data that we have, we work with the Coast Guard, and they release boating accident statistical data every year, and 64% of our boating deaths in 2022 were due to drowning. And a lot of that can be prevented by wearing a life jacket while you're underway. Another thing that we want to talk about is taking a boating safety course. 70% of operators involved in federal boating accidents in 2022 had no formal boating education.
How many percentage?
70%.
Wow.
Yeah. So what that means is, and it doesn't have to be a captain's license course, something that comprehensive, but just a simple boating safety course. You can go to Boat US, you can go to myfwc.com actually and click on boating safety, and there's several different boating safety courses, but it familiarizes yourself with the boating safety gear, the lights and shapes on the water, the U.S. Coast Guard navigation rules, what to do in the event of emergency, things like that. And it just educate yourself on you know, kind of what to do when you're on the water. Because a lot of people, you know, they get out there with a boat, and if something happens, they don't know what to do. And these courses are really good, and also making sure you have all your safety gear. And just to let everyone know also on that, I know I've talked about this before, so it's required by law, if you're born after January 1st, 1988, you have to have that boating safety course to operate, you know, power-driven vessel in the state. But if you're older than that, you can still take one, you know, and it's a quick and easy way to kind of educate yourself on some stuff on the water. Of course, the safety gear, make sure you have the proper life jackets for everybody on board, make sure you have a Type 4 throwable ring or cushion, a fire extinguisher, a horn or whistle, and then your flares or visual distress signals if you're offshore. Another thing that I know me and you've talked about is a float plan. Is having a float plan. So if you go, even if you're going fishing, tell somebody what boat ramp you're going from, you know, when you're leaving, when you're expected to return, and what area you're going to be. We've talked about that plenty of times.
One of my favorites, I've mentioned before, the late Dave Rollerson lived here in Forest Park. He'd get up early and go to the river back after when he retired, but on the garage wall, they had like a pegboard, and it had like 4 or 5 different landings, and he had a little smiley face because he didn't know where he was going to go. Just so his wife would know where it's at, he put that little smiley face on a hook. There you go. So his wife knew he was down at Willis Landing or down there at a cave-in or wherever, but just let people know where you're going to be.
Exactly, and that's super important because so many times, you know, we get that call, it's late at night or even in the afternoon, and having a starting point and knowing, hey, this is where he or she was going to go, that really helps us out and can help in making a, you know, where it's a happy ending instead of a sad ending.
Right.
As far as being on the water if there's a boating accident involved. Another thing is watch the weather. I know as sportsmen, we always watch the weather. We want to see the tides, and we want to see the wind, and we want to see the, you know, current and all that for fishing, but also for boating. And you get offshore, you know how things can turn.
Travis,
pretty quick.
I know you're out there on a daily basis or out there, but it still amazes you at the force of the weather sometimes when those thunderstorms come in with that wind and everything. It still fascinates me.
It does, and you don't ever want to, you know, think you can outdo Mother Nature, because it'll trick you every time. And so just watch that weather and respect it. You know, we want to respect the water and respect everything out there. One thing we talk about every year before scallops too is diver's down flag. Make sure everybody understands what that is. Red flag with a white stripe diagonal across, and make sure you stay 300 feet away in open water or 100 yards. Every year across the state we have accidents involving divers as well, and to prevent that, safety first, idle speed if you're going to be inside that 300 feet in open water, but try to stay 300 feet away when you see the diver's down flag.
What kind of rule do we have about if you're out there scalloping and people come up there anchor next to you? I guess they're legally allowed to do that. It's just not ethically.
Right. It's kind of like the trolling for Spanish thing. It's kind of a courtesy thing. But if they're idle and they get in there, they're allowed to get within. Another thing too, in the event of emergency, we want to encourage everyone, if your boat was to go down, stay with the boat. That's the best chance of getting found, especially offshore. We work with the Coast Guard, we work with the Sheriff's Office, we work with a lot of our partners on search and rescue operations. And, you know, if you are offshore and something, you know, God forbid was to happen, stay with the boat. And then another thing too, real quick, I know trying to get a lot in here, but you know, a lot of people probably heard about the move over law on the road.
Yeah.
As it pertains to, let's say the highway patrol has somebody pulled over. You're supposed to reduce your speed or move over the next lane for emergency vehicles. Even if you see, you know, a tow truck is working an accident, fire, EMS, law enforcement, obviously, but it's the same on the water too. So when you see FWC or Coast Guard and we have a vessel pulled over and we have our emergency lights on, you're supposed to stay 300 feet away, or if you have to come within that 300 feet, let's say it's a narrow channel like Grand Lagoon gets really congested this time of year, you need to operate at slow speed, minimum wake.
Okay.
So that move over law applies not only on the road but on the water. So just wanted to let everyone know about that, and there's a reason for that. I mean, obviously it's a safety thing, but when you have a lot of vessels going by and law enforcement has someone pulled over, that wake can cause damage and cause problems, and it's the same thing. Move over on the water, move over on the road. So.
All right. We're going to take our final break. Come right back with Travis. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. And don't forget that big sale is going on right now. Really good bargains there. We're looking at time 5:03 to 7:03 this morning, and this evening from 5:32 to 7:32. Okay, Travis, what we got?
One more thing I just wanted to finish up, and I know Jeff's going to put our number up there. If you see someone operating a boat dangerously or you see something on the water, want to let us know about, you can call 888-404-FWCC, or you can text tip at myfwc.com.
Okay, all right. And now we're going into the case of the month.
Oh, yeah.
We have a couple of pictures. So.
Sure, yeah, we've got several, and I wanted to recognize Officer Keelan Alsa Brooks here in Bay County. He's been an officer with us for a while here and worked some in Washington, Holmes, and been back in Bay County for a while. He received a complaint at the Panama City Beach City Pier, so the one down at Pier Park, that some people were harvesting sharks illegally. He got on the pier, was able to identify the people involved, and they were two individuals from out of state, and they were harvesting over the bag limit and undersized sharks. And I think we've got a few pictures
Okay, here's the picture, undersized. And what were they doing with them?
So they were going to eat them, and they were cutting them up too. As you can see, there's some of their caudal or tail fins down there at the bottom of the picture. But some of those are spinner sharks, and some of those are Atlantic sharp nose. 3 of them are spinners. The ones with kind of the white spots are going to be the sharp nose. But basically, a spinner shark has to be 54 inches at the fork. As you can tell, those were undersized, and they were also over the bag limit on sharks. And by taking the fins off or starting to clean them on the pier, that was another violation. So anything caught on, you know, a pier, a jetty, a catwalk, a bridge, and then obviously a boat to be landed in whole condition, they can't be cleaned till they come off for, you know, measuring size limits and making sure we've got the species identified and all. So the individuals were cited for over the bag limit of shark, not landing them in whole condition, and then undersized as well. So good job, Officer Alsa Brooks.
Here's Keelan right here, standing there. Good job.
Yeah, it's a good picture right there.
Yeah.
And
good job,
he did a good job getting out there, identifying the subjects, working with the complainant. Again, we say if you see something, say something. And somebody was able to call us. He was able to get out there and catch those guys before they were able to get away. So good job by Keelan there here in Bay County.
Good job.
And we've had a lot of cases made. I'd like to share. We had a really good net case made over to the east of us. I'll bring on for the next show.
Okay.
But yeah, it's starting to get really busy out there, resource-wise, boating safety-wise, and all of our guys are working really hard, I can tell you. So. Another thing we're seeing too is, and I know we talked about still catching a lot of pompano along the beaches. We had a question, actually last time I came on the show, we talked about, you know, the surf rigs and multiple hooks, how that's worded there in the regulation. And the way that's worded with the pompano is it's multiple hooks on the same shaft, which will be a treble hook. So multiple hooks is in, if you got 2 or 3 cale hooks on the pompano rig, you're good to go. It would just be if you were using treble hooks for them, which I don't know anybody that pompano fishes with treble hooks, but there was a little confusion there on the regulation, and just wanted to clear that up. But anyways, what else you been seeing out there?
Well, like I say, the pompano fishing has been good, and it's been sporadic. A guy went the other morning, caught a couple like at 9 o'clock, fished 3 more hours, didn't catch any. So and that's fishing.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of activity. I know one thing we always get questioned on, and how many poles you put out and all that. Is there a limit? What's the limit on how many poles you can put out?
So recreationally, we don't have a limit on as far as surf fishing for pompano whiting or whatever, how many rod and reels you can put out. A lot of states up north, they'll put limits on how many rod and reels you can have from a boat for freshwater, but we don't have a limit. And you'll see some people, they'll have 7, 8, 9, 10 rods, 2 or 3 people manning those. You really got to scramble to keep them baited.
And everything. We talked about it before. I put 3 at the most out there, and as a courtesy to everybody around us. And of course, the best thing is go fishing. Daybreak, be there, and then about 9 or 10 o'clock, I wrap it up. And that's when the beach people start coming out. So I've never had a problem with people walking by and stuff like that. But I know with more and more people, there's some conflicts on occasion. So
yeah, you will from time to time. But
most people are really courteous about it both ways.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, that beach, it gets crowded. I know we've been running the ATVs a little bit. Panama Beach, Mexico Beach, Tyndall Beach, and you're right, about 9, 10 o'clock. You got a lot of swimmers and sunbathers out there that'll get out there too, but the fishermen are usually there at daylight. So.
Well, Travis, I appreciate it. Very organized, a lot of good notes and all, and we always appreciate you coming on. And
yes, sir.
We'll start wrapping things up, and like I say, try to get Nicole, get that babysitting schedule, that work schedule. We'll get her to come on and talk about boating safety. That again, in closing out, we're talking about these 4 accidents within like 2 weeks. How many fatalities or several fatalities, and a couple of bad injuries. So we got to really get back into boating safety again. So go ahead and take that course online if you can, and just learn a little bit about it. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Folks, y'all do something good today for your fellow man. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.